All right, so Justin, All-Star selections have been made. You have a problem with how the All-Star selection format, the whole process is going on. But Auston Matthews, the first Leaf to be picked, we'll debate whether it should have been William Nylander or Auston Matthews. I'm not, leaning either way too heavily. It makes sense for Matthews. But you want to talk about the format because you think it's stupid that every single team needs a representative.
Absolutely, Albert. This might be the dumbest format for an All-Star game. An All-Star game is what? It's an opportunity to sell tickets, to gain corporate sponsors. It's a showcase of the best in the NHL, right? In what world is Boone freaking Jenner a part of the best? No disrespect to Boone Jenner.
Well, that sounds like disrespect to Boone Jenner.
A very good NHL player. But Boone Jenner's not an all-star, right? You look at the Eastern Conference right here. Brady Tkachuk plays on the worst team in the Eastern Conference in the Ottawa Senators, right? Yeah. They just got pumped in Vancouver the other day, and now he's an all-star? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, Albert. This game is in Toronto, and again, does a disservice to the teams that actually have multiple All-Stars, like the Toronto Maple Leafs, like the Edmonton Oilers, like the Vancouver Canucks. The list goes on and on. Like you look at the New York Rangers, right? Jacob Trouba was their selection, but a guy like Artemi Panarin, who's like fifth in top 5 in league scoring, is somehow not an All-Star. Right? You look at a team like New Jersey who has multiple All-Stars. It makes no sense to me, Albert. In what world am I going to go to the All-Star game and I want to watch Tom Wilson in a skills competition?
Well,
I don't care. I don't want to.
Hold on. He might not be selected for the skills competition. So let me just go over the format. Okay. So 16 players selected from each conference. That's by the NHL to make sure that every team has a representative. And then the fans will select the 12 more participants, which adds up to a pool of 44 players. So the next guy's coming in, all fan votes. That could be anybody. Like, there's going to be some players who probably deserve to be in there, not in there, based on some votes. I'm already seeing certain people, I think, influencers in the hockey world trying to get some third and fourth liners in there. So we might see like a John Scott situation. You remember that?
Yeah.
He was a captain. So we might see some. I know it doesn't make the most sense, but again, it is what it is. It's an all-star game. But hold on. Then the NHL will select the first 8 participants for the skills competition, and the fans will select 4 more. So even for the skills comp, you're going to have some players who maybe don't deserve to be in it.
It makes no sense. I'm looking at the West right now, the West list. And this thing is actually shocking right here, the West, okay?
Shocking.
Philip Forsberg, very good player, but I wouldn't say he's an all-star, right? Frank Vatrano from the Anaheim Ducks.
Frankie V.
No. Oliver Bjorkstrand from the Kraken. No. Elias Lindholm from the Flames. No.
That's a stretch.
Right? Thomas Hertl on the San Jose Sharks. No. Robert Thomas on the Blues. That's like 5 guys right there where you could have Draisaitl, Pedersen, JT Miller.
Dude,
pick
right.
whoever else you got.
I know.
Right? It makes no sense to
Mikko
me.
Rantanen.
Right? Mikko Rantanen out of Colorado. Right? Cale Makar is not an all-star, right? It makes no sense, Albert, whatsoever, and I don't get it. You look at the NBA voting, right? And they just came up with their first ballots or whatever the other day, where it's 50% the fans, 25% the media, 25% the players, right? And again, I know a lot of people, especially in Toronto, are upset that no Raptors are getting voted in, but at least we're going to see the best of the best play.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
I don't want to see Philip Forsberg in the All-Star game. I don't want to see Frank Vatrano in the All-Star game when there should be guys that are deserving, guys that actually help grow the game, that play in it. It's in Toronto, the biggest hockey market or second biggest hockey market in the world. And you're going to put out guys like that? Look at the NHL Winter Classic on TNT. The viewership was so bad on TNT, the worst ever. And why? Because they had small market teams like Seattle and Vegas. And again, the NHL wanted to pump their 2 new expansion teams, put on a showcase like that, but it didn't do good ratings wise. So why would you want to do the same thing for your All-Star game and have, again, you want to have well represented from every team and all of that. But certain teams don't deserve to have players at the All-Star game, right? It's just the standard has dropped so low, and I hate it. Right? It's like the Pro Bowl when guys bounce out and you end up getting Tyler Huntley in the Pro Bowl, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
The Pro Bowl doesn't matter anymore. It's flag football. These All-Star games don't really matter. But I get what you're saying. What does the NHL do? They're horrible at marketing their game. They do anything that just appeases themselves and their owners. That's why Seattle and Vegas, that's why the NHL is going back to Atlanta, which I cannot believe that's actually happening. But it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Again. Back to Atlanta
This
again.
will be the third time in Atlanta.
Yeah, so the NHL doesn't do a good job of this stuff. I would love to really know. I want the truth serum from the players and how they actually feel about the All-Star game.
They don't like it.
Exactly. I mean, in Toronto, it feels a bit more special. Maybe I'm saying that with a bit of bias being in Toronto, but it's a massive hockey market. You're going to have Matthews there, and I don't know.
Like, think about it, like, Leaf fans are going to be buying tickets. Do they not want to go see Matthews, Marner, Nylander, potentially a Morgan Riley, right? You have kind of 4 All-Stars. Now you might only get 2 tops, right?
Yeah, okay.
Maybe 3 if you're lucky. There's only 8 skaters left, Albert, which is nuts, right? So it's just, when I look at this format, it's so flawed. There's so much better you could go about it. For example, get rid of the divisions, right? Go back to East versus West. Hell, even go to North America versus Europe. Something like that, right? I think there's such an opportunity here for the NHL to really hone into this All-Star game because we never see best on best in hockey anymore. We're going to get that Fugazi World Cup in a couple of years where it's only be 4 teams. But we have a chance here to grow the game, put the best on best where everybody could see McDavid versus Matthews or, Jack Hughes versus brother Quentin Hughes or stuff like that where it actually matters. Not saying the All-Star game matters, but it's like
a
collection of all the talent. And for much as we bang on the MLB All-Star game or the NBA All-Star game, at the end of those games, they matter, right? Guys are playing defense. Guys are trying to, get other guys out. They're trying to win the game. We don't see that in the NHL. So that's why I think the NHL has such an opportunity here to really improve the All-Star game and really help grow this game. But again, stupid things like this, like making Oliver Bjorkstrand an NHL All-Star makes no sense to me.
Yeah, well, they're trying it now. We'll see with the draft, this new skills competition that Connor McDavid helped build. Maybe it'll be entertaining. Just quickly before we end this block, so Auston Matthews selected as the Maple Leafs representative. I'm assuming Nylander will probably get in, potentially Marner, maybe Morgan Riley. But do you have any issue with Matthews over Nylander?
You're grasping at straws.
You really
right?
are,
I mean,
right?
look at what the season Auston Matthews have. You can't debate that he's not an All-Star, right? That's why this format is so stupid.
I mean, Nylander too, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
36 games, 51 points. He's top 6 in scoring, 19 goals, 32 assists. He's going to get paid $12 billion per year by the Toronto Maple Leafs soon. Auston Matthews, 30 and 35, which we will talk about in the next block. So the question's going to be, we'll do a little good cock, bad cock. Will Matthews hit 50 in 50? I say yes. Pooni says you're going to have to wait and find out.